I actually responded to Ground Zero. I was there going through the ashes of the World Trade Center. I was there at Fresh Kills.
I'm not asking you that.
I'm asking you, Congressman.
Were you the special agent in charge?
To show respect
You were not.
for a Secret Service
that's a bunch of
member
horse hockey.
that died on 9/11.
Oh, that you're trying to be.
Do not invoke 9/11 for political purposes.
Oh, that not. I'm invoking this.
You are, sir.
Gentlemen,
and you are out of line.
I would like to ask him a question, please.
You are.
Hello everybody and welcome to this episode of Common Sense View. In an epic, psychotic, dramatic manner yesterday, the hearing into the assassination attempt on Donald Trump at Butler, Pennsylvania devolved into a shouting between Representative Fallon and the Secret Service Director. Now, looking at that hearing, you cannot but see somebody who has lost control. The Secret Service Director was asked a simple question. Who was there on the picture? Were you supposed to be there? Now, if you are at a place where you are not supposed to be, it means that something is wrong. All you needed to do was explain why you were there instead of the detailee to the president, vice president-elect, and the president-elect. But because the Secret Service chief has no answer, he resorted to posturing. I was there at 9/11. I was carrying that. It doesn't matter. You were also available when an attempt, and nearly an attempt that would have restored to fatality, was made on the life of then running Republican nominee, Donald Trump. The incompetency, the lack of communication, the attitude of people being where they're not supposed to be led to that. And you being at the 9/11 event without being at the place you're supposed to be, thereby putting out of place those who should be there, makes you a question mark by nature. But in an administration whereby nothing is punished, nobody is fired for wrongdoing, instead you fall up instead of falling down. What do you expect? There were a lot of questions, a lot of bickering, a lot of blame game. And it has been that way since that attempt was made on Donald Trump on live TV. The fact that was not on live TV did not shake up this man. You can understand the line of question he was asked was not the patronizing question from the other side of the aisle. It took him 4 days to contact the people involved. He didn't go there when he heard about the incident as assistant director. If the director didn't go, the director might have an excuse, even though she later on resigned. All those are lapses in leadership. Mediocrity in leadership. They were enough to pose the question the congressman was asking. But in a place where people are protected even when they are doing wrong, what do you expect in contrary? Watch the incident yourself and make your own judgment. Is this how he said he's a public servant? If you are a public servant, the congressman is also a public servant, but he was elected by the people to represent them in the House. And he is accountable to them when he goes home. In other words, you should give him the information he demands, respectfully or disrespectfully. The most important thing is not the attitude or what hurts your feeling. It's the question. You should be privy to the answer. Now, I'm just saying my mind. If I am in charge and something goes wrong, I demand accountability. I don't know what you think. Compare this with all the things going on wrong in the administration and then make your own judgment. I want you to watch the video a little bit detailed and say where the congressman was wrong. He shouted, of course, but you can understand. The incident was right there on the live TV. Anybody who saw that live knew that a country was near to chaos. Watch.
Who is usually at an event like this closest to the President of the United States, security-wise?
The sack of the detail.
Special agent in charge of the detail. Were you the special agent in charge of the detail that day?
Actually, let me address this. Could you please, staff, leave that? Oh, no, leave that one up with the circle around me. Thank you. Actually, Congressman, what you're not seeing is the sack of the detail out of the picture's view. And that is the day where we remember the more than 3,000 people that have died on 9/11. I actually responded to Ground Zero. I was there going through the ashes of the World Trade Center. I was there at Fresh Kills.
I'm not asking you that.
I was
I'm asking
there,
you
Congressman.
were you the special
there
agent in charge?
to show respect
You were not.
for a Secret
Oh, that's
Service
a bunch of
member
horse hockey.
that died on 9/11.
Oh, that you're trying to be.
Do not invoke 9/11 for political purposes.
Oh, that not. I'm invoking this.
You are, sir.
Gentlemen,
And you
I'm
are
not.
out of
Gentlemen,
line.
I would like to ask him a question. Please.
You are out of line,
Order.
Congressman.
Don't
Way
try
out
to
of
bully
line.
me. I am an elected member of Congress, and I'm asking you a serious question, and you are
I
playing
am a public
politics.
servant who has served this nation and
You
spent
won't answer the
time
question.
on our country's darkest
Mr.
day.
Chairman,
Committee
you will
will
not
come
Do
to
not
order.
politicize it.
Committee will come to
I'm
order.
asking you serious questions for the American people, and they're very simple. They're not trick questions. Were you the special agent in charge that
No, I
day?
wasn't. I was there
Oh, no,
representing
Mr.
the
Chairman,
United
I'm
States
just asking
Secret
you yes or
Service,
no.
sir.
Mr. Fallon, your
and
time's
did
expired.
not affect protective
Fallon,
You know
operations.
why you were
Time's
there?
expired.
Because you wanted to be visible, because you were auditioning for this
I was
job
there to
that
pay
you're not gonna
respect for a
get
fallen
till
member of
January
this
20th.
agency.
You endangered
You are
President
out of
Biden's
line,
life,
Congressman.
Vice President
You are out of
Harris's
line.
life, because you put those agents out of position.
Mr.
Did you have a
Chairman.
radio with
Mr.
you?
Fallon,
Did
your
you wear a
time
vest?
has
Did you have a
expired.
weapon?
Mr.
No.
I did, sir, and you are out of line.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, granted, the congressman shouldn't have exploded himself. There has to be decorum. But the questions were legitimate. You're staying at that point, at that spot, at that point in time, put the person who is supposed to be there out of order. If there is an attack, you're not wearing any gun. That means you are not prepared for protection. You're not wearing any vest, you're not wearing your holster. You are not armed. Even if you are not at that position to be their detailee. So you're being there maybe for photo op or for any other reason is something you can explain without going into what you were doing in 9/11 years back. It is irrelevant. We know that that day you were a hero, today you were a villain. It's as simple as that. You were missing in action today, maybe not a villain for not being so hyperbolic. You were missing in action. You were where you're not supposed to be. And accountability is demanded. Postering saying what you did years back or what you didn't do is irrelevant. But that is it. When people are right, even when they are wrong, that is the situation. And what do you expect in a presidency, administration that doesn't fire anyone that does wrong? So the situation is so bad that everyone reacted, even those who were against Trump reacted to the lapses. I saw this on TV. Somebody was climbing on the roof. Climbing, doing normal crawling activity. People down could see him, even with the elevation. Yet, the snipers couldn't spot him until he took 3, 4, 5, 6 shots. Killing one man, blowing 2 others that later on survived. And then narrowly missing Trump, which was also narrowly letting the country off the hook of chaos. Any person who was involved in the leadership of the Secret Service should be humble enough to look down in disgrace for their failure. It doesn't cost a lot to fly a drone. And even if it does, it doesn't cost a lot to spot somebody who every other person in the arena spotted hours, minutes, seconds before the shooting. But all those being equal, the hearing is not a place to tell what good or what bad you have done. It's a place for accountability. It's a place to admit wrong, especially this particular one, and talk for a way forward. What will be done to avoid such a thing from happening? What the world needs now is not chaos. And when I say the word, I mean starting from the United States and downstream, Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Gaza, Lebanon. What we need now is not more chaos. There has to be order. And if the expectation is as good as it is, we hope that Trump restores the order. Otherwise, nobody knows what is going to happen. Since Donald Trump was nominated, he has done what blew off what he did in his first administration, which was practically nominating every single cabinet member to his new administration. He kicked the ball down. Now it's in the hand of the Senate. Many rose dusties, and others there was no noise about them. But everyone knows that apart from Matt Gaetz, the next person raising the highest dust so far is Pete Hegseth, the nominee for the defense secretary. There have been a lot of hit pieces against him. But that hit pieces against him reminds me of what Nancy Pelosi said about smear campaigns. You smear somebody, you merchandise it to the media, and they scale it up, and you made the reference to the media. Circle of information. And that is what they have done with this guy. This guy had been on Fox News as long as I've been watching Fox News, since 2010 or 2017. I actually started watching Fox News in 2016. Before then, it was CNN. I knew a little about ABC and MSNBC, all those stuff. CNN was the news everyone knew about. But they fell out of favor because they started reporting nonsense. Sorry to say that. Because I love them. I have seen this guy in Fox News since 2017. I have not had any peep against him. Suddenly, he became a rapist. Anonymous sources said that they saw him doing something to another person. They saw him doing something to another person. It was thoroughly investigated according to the report. But he was not charged. Why was he not charged? Does it mean that the thorough investigation was not thorough enough? Or that there was not evidence to charge? Or did they not charge because they could not convict me, so they don't want to waste taxpayers' money? The next one is that he was drinking on duty. Yeah, I watched him on Fox News. I never saw him as somebody who got drunk any of the time I was watching him. I saw somebody who was super articulate, friendly with his crew, and cooperative. And what I said, I didn't say because the colleagues have said it. I said it because I observed it for the past 8 years. And they said the mother wrote him. This man came back from war. Pure combat, not those who claim that they were in combat, who never went to any war. They shot people, kill people, and not only get killed themselves. Because if you come back from war, even if nobody shot you directly, you not only escape because you could have died, whether you like it or not. And many of the people who came back like him are still suffering PTSD. Many others are healthy. But every one of them have one or two things they have lost. Some lost their limbs. It wouldn't be a surprising thing that a soldier who came back from war is drinking. But it is actually surprising that he picked himself up, graduated in Princeton, Harvard, and have been doing a lot of things to help the fellow veterans, and have been on news for 10 years, more or less. But those were the qualities that will determine if he can be the Secretary of Defense. But the last time I remember, competence is what everyone is talking about. Yet the one that is there now disappeared, was missing from action for almost 1 week without any person knowing where he was. What is more? Somebody who shows up at the work every day. They said, some people said that they carried him out from workplace when they were on official duty. They never have faces. Now, somebody had a very detailed interview with Pete Hegseth. That is Megyn Kelly of the Megyn Kelly Show. I will link it at the end of this video. You go and watch it. It was not just an interview, it was a detailed interview. And nothing was off the hook. Nothing was off the hook. These are the people who knew Pete Hegseth at Fox News. She's no more working at Fox News with us so that they will say he's trying to protect a colleague. Another person that talked so highly about Pete was his fellow anchor, Will Ken. Will Ken went to PBD podcast and said, I know that at workplace when you say we are friendly, somebody's my friend, it means that he's friendly with me. But for Pete, he's someone that when I die, I want to be one of those carrying my casket because he's my friend. I know I might not be unbiased. I am biased in his favor. But everything I'm saying about him is true. He's a good man. I'll be glad if my friends would describe me this way. No matter my infirmities, no matter my errors, my flaws. But why are the establishment so much uproar? Why are they blowing their head because of this? Because he's going to be effective. Yeah, don't take it from me. The news articles, they're carrying whatever they want about him. Whether they are true or not, who cares? Whether they damage him or not, who cares? After all, they're doing their job. But are they really doing their job or they're trying to protect their paying masters? They're singing the praises of their paying masters, irrespective of who is harmed along the way. So let us look a little bit to the news, what they have about him. This is from The Hill. Senate GOP sees Hegseth nomination as likely doomed. And you would think, why would a Senate GOP think that when they were able to confirm every single person Joe Biden gave to them, including a woman to the highest court who doesn't know the definition of a woman, who couldn't define a woman, yet is sitting at the Supreme Court. But the GOP senators are having problem confirming Pete because somebody somewhere accused him of doing something very long time ago that the police could not find any reason to prosecute him for. They are fooling themselves. I think the best thing that should be done is you Liz Cheney them. Liz Cheney them so that they know that those who vote them, they have the 4 asses. Now, let us check out what they are saying in The Hill. According to The Hill, Senate GOP sees Hegseth nomination as likely doomed. But Hegseth's nomination to serve as Secretary of Defense appears doomed despite his fiery declaration that he's not going anywhere. Republicans on Capitol Hill told The Hill on Thursday, I think most people do not expect Hegseth to make it, said one Republican senator. There are 7 or 8 Republican votes against him. It's a matter of time. It's on the death. It's on the death, the senator added. GOP senators say that President-elect Trump is letting Hegseth twist in the wind and even appear to undermine his nomination by floating Florida Governor Ron DeSantis as a possible replacement nominee to head the Pentagon. Republican senators said that Trump isn't making calls to GOP senators to save Hegseth's floundering nomination and instead is throwing more ballast onto a sinking ship by floating DeSantis as a replacement. Now, where is all of this stuff about DeSantis coming from? That's all coming out of Mar-a-Lago. The first GOP senator who spoke to The Hill said. A second Republican senator said that Trump floated DeSantis' name for the Secretary of Defense to a group of people over the weekend. A third Republican senator said Hegseth's nomination is trending in the wrong direction. A Senate Republican said as many as 8 Republican senators are prepared to vote against Hegseth, but most of them are not willing to call publicly for Hegseth to resign because they don't want to be criticized by Trump MAGA allies. Now, whether they like it or not, they will not just be criticized by Trump MAGA allies. All of them will be primaried. All of them. And they will see it The reason why there will be primaries is because the people who voted in Trump know the people he wanted to work with him. And if you talk about character, they don't see character as an impediment to them. Those who are seeing character as an impediment are those who have us to grind. And if you don't follow the MAGA people will not follow you. Some of them have the election coming in 2 years. So you know what to do. You are not voting him to be a priest of your diocese or your family spiritual director. He knows what he's called to do. To sweep out the debt in the Pentagon. To sack those, to fire those who are there just to take money with their big stomach, doing nothing to help those who are fighting the war. To prepare the army to be killing machine and not to be drag queen den. Now, if you're not okay with that, then you get out of the line or you get yourself out of the Senate just as Liz Cheney saw her own career end by an opposition to what she shouldn't have done. Of course, you have the freedom to do whatever you want, but the MAGA people have the freedom to do whatever they want also. Here is what ABC was saying about it. You check and see whether it is justified that any senator, especially Senator Ernst, whose re-election bid is in 2 years' time, will be in this direction. And I heard that she's doing this so that Pete will go out because she's interested in the race. Just watch and make your own judgment.
Sources tell ABC News President-elect Donald Trump has expressed to those close to him that Pete Hegseth should have been more honest and forthcoming about the challenges he could face in the confirmation process. The nominee for defense secretary has been meeting with senators every day this week. As ABC's Perry Russom explains, sources say Trump's team is focused on where female Republican senators stand on his confirmation.
Mr. Hegseth, do you believe you have support from Republican senators to be confirmed? We're fighting. We're ready to go.
Today, Pete Hegseth fighting to remain President-elect Trump's nominee for Secretary of Defense. Sources tell ABC News Trump's team has not been working the phones for him, something he did for Matt Gaetz when his nomination for Attorney General was wrapped in controversy.
We're fighting all the way through the tape. We're grateful to have the president's support.
Yeah, thank God.
Because his vision for this Department of Defense is to bring it back to its core capacity.
Hegseth continuing his carousel of meetings at the Capitol with Republican senators, working to win over their support ahead of any confirmation hearing.
I've got a completely open mind.
I'm going to do everything I can to make sure he's confirmed as the Secretary of Defense.
Sources tell ABC News Trump's team is focused on figuring out where female Republican senators stand. Senator Joni Ernst on Fox News.
It doesn't sound on your answer that you've gotten to a yes. If I'm wrong about that, correct me. And if that is the case, it sounds to me as if the hearing will be critical for his nomination. Am I right about that?
I think you are right. I think for a number of our senators, they want to make sure that any allegations have been cleared.
So, you heard it. They don't want him to be confirmed. Some of them are strongly behind him. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want him to be confirmed. Everyone has their flaw. Everyone, no matter how perfect you think your life is, if somebody wants to find out something somewhere about you, there must be something to be found. But I don't think going against somebody with an unsubstantiated or unprosecuted claim is enough to derail somebody's destiny or somebody's function. If you do, then be prepared when you are the person that it is coming for, because the measure you give will always be the measure you will get. So there is one man that made a very touching statement about all of this, and it's Scott Jennings. I like quoting him. In CNN, he talked passionately.
Yeah, thank God we have a president-elect who's willing to say it. We've had Americans held hostage since October the 7th, and we've lacked a president that had the testicular fortitude to get our people back. This is outrageous that these Americans were taken and murdered, and we've basically stood back and given lip service to both sides, this and that. I want to hear. It's wrong. And this is the wages of weakness of a weak president. All these things you just listed, it's because we have a weak America. And now we're going to have a strong America. And I think Donald Trump's going to have far better success. We had world at peace when he was president. We had a peace agreement in the Middle East. But when you take Americans hostage and you murder Americans, you better damn well know the President of the United States is going to do something about it, and we've not known that for 4 years.
If you're wondering why people want Peg Hegseth, just listen to this particular comment Scott Jennings made. Because he is one who is ready to go to the field to get things done. He's one who is ready to even join his members, his crew, to go and rescue the Americans who are held hostage. Who is one who is ready to be in front while calling his group to follow him. He has led by example. And the good thing is that nobody from his crew, either current or past, has ever stood up and said he's not a good pig. The only people who are talking against him were the military industrial complex, the military contractors, and the big heads in the military who don't want the status quo to be messed up with. Unfortunately, this is in the hand of MAGA. If you are ready to go against them, you go against them. After all, you are performing your constitutional duty. But every action has a consequence. And that is what I say. Tell me what you think. If you believe that Peg Hegseth is still the right person to be in this position, let me hear it. Let me see you talk about it on the comment side. If you don't believe that, if you think that the accusation without faces are enough to get him out of the position, then also let me hear it. I'm open-minded. I only say my own opinion, my own common sense view. So let me hear what you say. And having come this far, thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this video, please subscribe, like, and share.